These up-and-coming next-generation young guns enter the league, it is becoming more and more apparent that the WNBA veterans did not do much to really advance the game of the WNBA. They didn't really develop the game as much as they'd like to think. You have these rookies coming in and doing in one season, and doing in less than a season and half a season what it's taken these vets of the past 600, 700, 800, 900 games.
Imagine a league on the brink of collapse the second one rookie player steps off the court. A multi-million-dollar industry grinding to a halt because a single athlete isn't in the game. This sounds like a fictional drama, but it's the shocking reality facing the WNBA right now. The most electrifying star they've ever seen, Caitlin Clark, has been sidelined for weeks with a groin injury, and in her absence, the entire foundation of the league has begun to crumble. Ratings have evaporated, arenas have quieted, and a desperate scramble to maintain relevance has exposed a terrifying truth.
But the Indiana Fever went all out for Caitlin Clark's logo drop, so there was a lot of excitement already fluttering about Gamebridge, and energy was high. They definitely spared no expense in letting everybody know that Caitlin Clark does have a new logo out. The arena was actually covered with t-shirts that said Caitlin Clark was here. The outside of the arena had her logo everywhere. She even showed up with all these accoutrements with a CC logo.
The WNBA's historic rise wasn't because of collective effort. It was almost entirely because of one person. And while the league struggles to function without her, a corporate giant just made $1 billion bet that she's already transcended the sport altogether. This isn't just a story about basketball. It's a story about economic explosion, systematic failure, and a branding revolution that's leaving everyone else behind. Stick around, because what's happening right now will change professional sports forever. Before we dive into these insane revelations, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. You are not going to want to miss a single second of this unfolding drama.
Listen, Caitlin Clark had a huge announcement today. The new Caitlin Clark logo is out. She took to Twitter and said, tune in, logo collection coming soon. Signature product dropping 2026. I think we getting them new CCs, them logo 3 CCs in 2026, y'all. It'll be no more Kobe PEs, which we've loved. We about to get them Caitlin Clark sneakers. Let's take a look.
The numbers are absolutely staggering, and they paint a picture the league never wanted you to see. When Caitlin Clark was on the court, she was quite literally moving markets. Economists from Indiana University calculated that her presence generated a mind-blowing $36 million for the city of Indianapolis alone. But that was just the beginning. Their analysis found she was personally responsible for over 26% of the entire WNBA's economic activity for this season. Think about that.
Clark has been a lightning rod for attention since entering the league. She brought in new fans, national media, and even primetime slots. Her absence isn't just hurting the Indiana Fever, it's apparently impacting the entire league's momentum. But this also sparks a deeper conversation. Is it fair for one rookie to carry the weight of an entire league's popularity? You see, critics say the WNBA's marketing has leaned heavily on Caitlin Clark, while longtime stars like A'ja Wilson, Breanna Stewart, and others deserve more spotlight too. On the flip side, others argue Caitlin Clark is the draw, and the ratings prove it.
One player, a rookie, generated more than a quarter of the league's entire value, from ticket sales and merchandise to television contracts and national media attention. The Indiana Fever's home attendance shattered records, averaging over 17,000 fans per game, even surpassing their NBA counterparts, the Pacers. This wasn't a rising tide lifting all boats. This was a tsunami, and Caitlin Clark was the earthquake that caused it. The league proudly announced it was on pace to break 2.5 million fans in total attendance this year. But everyone in the know understood the real story. They were on pace to break the record for Caitlin Clark attendance. The second she went down, the air vanished from the balloon.
35%. WNBA ratings down. All-Star game 35% than last year. Yet you're telling me that it doesn't have to do with Caitlin. 35%. It really makes it difficult for fans of the WNBA in general and Caitlin Clark, like myself, to have conversations, to join a Discord, just to I don't know, want to just talk up the WNBA in general when you can't even give Caitlin the props that she.
Games that previously pulled in millions of viewers saw their ratings plummet to barely 450,000. Networks that once bragged about viewership numbers suddenly went silent, refusing to release the devastating figures. The All-Star game without Clark dropped 36% from the previous year. The evidence is overwhelming and impossible to ignore. The league Cinderella story was being written by one singular author.
Caitlin will never be paid what she's worth by the WNBA because it is quite literally impossible for them to pay her what she's worth. An economist at Indiana University Columbus calculated that Caitlin Clark was responsible for $36 million in economic impact to the city of Indianapolis, and that she is responsible for 27% of the entire WNBA's economic activity for this past season, including attendance, merchandise sales, and television. One player.
But the chaos wasn't confined to spreadsheets and TV ratings. A silent crisis was ravaging the league, making it physically impossible to build any lasting momentum. This season has been a pool of injuries, a catastrophic epidemic that goes far beyond Caitlin Clark's groin. According to reports, players have suffered a horrifying 212 separate injuries, leading to over 859 games missed, and that was a week still left in the regular season. The list includes 10 ACL tears and multiple MCL injuries. Teams like the Golden State Valkyries were decimated, dealing with 27 separate injuries to their roster. This isn't just bad luck. It's a glaring red flag pointing to a massive systematic failure in player conditioning, recovery, and perhaps even scheduling. The league's physicality has been turned up to an unprecedented level, but the infrastructure to protect its players clearly hasn't kept pace. It's destroying narratives, ruining potential championship storylines, and making it impossible for fans to invest in stars who might not be on the court next week.
Trying to be that kind of soundboard for her and that voice, having gone through something kind of similar, and knowing obviously it's really unfortunate that we don't have her, but she means a lot more to the game than just showing up and playing, and I think you're able to see that with just the excitement in Indy right now, regardless of if she's playing.
The league's most valuable assets are being broken down, and the credibility of the entire product is being stretched to its breaking point. It's a house of cards built on a shaky foundation, and the wind is starting to blow. And right in the middle of this meltdown, a global powerhouse stepped in and changed the entire game. Nike looked at the crumbling league and the one luminous star at its center and made a calculated, cold-blooded decision. They weren't betting on the WNBA. They were betting on Caitlin Clark.
Means as much to their league, whatever league it is, as Caitlin Clark means to the WNBA. And no person has done more for their league than what Caitlin Clark has done for the WNBA. Patrick Mahomes does not mean that much to the NFL. Steph Curry does not mean that much to the NBA. LeBron James does not mean that much to the NBA. She is a monster. When we look back on this, Caitlin Clark will be for the WNBA what Magic Johnson and Larry Bird were for the NBA. If this thing ever becomes as big as some people think it can become, she will be the Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. You needed two of them to take the NBA to another level. You needed Magic and Larry.
On August 25th, they unveiled a signature interlocking double C logo for Clark, making her the first female basketball player in Nike's history to ever receive her own logo. This isn't just a shoe deal. This is Jordan-level treatment. This is LeBron-level branding. This places her in a realm of cultural significance that no other woman in her sport has ever reached. The financial commitment is enormous, a $28 million deal over 8 years. But the market's response was even more telling. When Nike dropped Clark's Kobe-inspired Player Edition sneakers in Indiana Fever colors, they sold out in less than 60 minutes.
For 10, and a lot of people have been getting on Nike because they don't feel like they have been promoting Caitlin as much as they should. But I will say we have to give credit where credit is due. I feel like in the past month or so, they have been tweeting about Caitlin more, and then obviously with this shoe release, they made this super sick commercial to promote it. And of course, just today, Caitlin Clark's new Kobe PE shoe sold out in less than a minute. And I saw so many tweets about this, so many people who were so sad that they missed out on this shoe. I saw that there was this one Dick's store and people were lined up around the corner, like camping out, trying to get the shoe.
The $190 shoes immediately flooded the secondary market, with resale prices hitting $600. This isn't just demand, it's a frenzy. It's a cultural mania that Nike is now building its entire women's basketball strategy around. They are implicitly declaring that Caitlin Clark is not just a player within the WNBA ecosystem. She is a standalone global brand that happens to play basketball. The timing was a brutal indictment of the league's own struggles, a constant reminder playing on every fan's social media feed that while the WNBA was flailing, Clark's empire was being built. The chasm between Clark's marketability and the league's traditional operations is wider than anyone could have predicted, revealing a fundamental disconnect between modern global branding and a sports organization still finding its financial footing.
If you are hoping to get your hands on the Caitlin Clark version of Nike's Kobe Bryant sneaker, you're out of luck. They are out of stock. The WNBA star teamed up with Nike for a player edition of the Kobe 5 Pro Tro, decked out in Indiana Fever colors. You see them on your screen. They dropped at 10 a.m. Monday, and they sold out before 11 a.m. In fact, in just minutes. The $190 kicks are already showing up on the secondary market at close to double the retail.
Nike's approach is a masterclass in modern branding, a level of sophistication that operates in a different dimension altogether. They didn't just slap a name on a shoe. They invested in building a mythology. The process of designing the logo was intensely collaborative, with Clark herself being hands-on through every iteration. This isn't a corporate decision made in a distant boardroom. It's a partnership, signaling that Clark isn't just an endorser, but co-creator of her own legacy.
I'm here to tell you, they dropping some merch too. Now you can pre-order Caitlin Clark signature t-shirts, man. Nike wasted no time in getting the ball rolling for the Caitlin Clark brand. Now, I've been pretty vocal about this. I believe they're turning Caitlin Clark brand into a luxury athletic brand. Hence why the logo looked eerily, this is just my theory, to the Gucci logo. But I will say this though, it is a unisex logo. You can tell by how the logo is designed. You can tell by how the logo is made. It is definitely a unisex logo.
The genius of the design lies in its layered storytelling. The two prominent, interlocking C's are bold and unmistakable, designed to represent her powerful connection with a massive global fan base that stretches far beyond traditional basketball audiences. But it's the hidden, smaller C tucked within the design that adds a deeper, more personal dimension. This subtle element symbolizes how her game was built from the inside out, a testament to the countless hours of unseen work, the private grind, and the internal drive that forged a phenom. This isn't just decoration. It's a narrative device that invites fans to look closer, to feel a part of her journey, and to buy into an identity, not just a product.
I've been telling y'all to stay patient. I've been telling y'all that Nike takes their time, that Asia Wilson's shoe deal was 2 years in the making, that Paige Beckers had PEs, not her own signature shoe, and that Caitlin Clark's was 100% coming. And people kept saying, oh, Nike fumbled the bag with Caitlin. It has to get out there. Nike fumbled the bag. No, they didn't. It takes time. She's got to develop a whole freaking product line. But they just announced, breaking news right now, we have a logo. That is the official Caitlin Clark Nike logo. And it's not just that. I mean, this is cool. Nike has just announced that a signature product line will be dropping soon, with signature shoes coming in 2026. Now, this is going to be her logo for all of her Nike stuff that is Caitlin Clark.
This level of sophisticated, story-driven marketing creates an emotional connection with the consumer that transcends the sport itself. It's the kind of strategic effort that, by comparison, can make the league's own promotional campaigns appear painfully amateurish and reactive. Where Nike is building a timeless icon, the league often seems focused on promoting individual games. Where Nike sells a lifestyle and an aspiration, the league is sometimes still just selling tickets. This isn't necessarily a full failure of the WNBA's marketing teams, who operate with vastly different budgets and historical constraints, but it highlights a devastating gap in vision, resources, and execution. The league's model has historically been about collective growth, a rising tide lifts all boats philosophy. But Nike's move proves that in today's attention economy, the market doesn't always work that way. It identifies a supernova and invests all its energy into amplifying that singular light, often leaving other stars dimmer by comparison.
The Caitlin Clark collaborations just keep coming, ladies and gentlemen. The God Caitlin Clark has now done a collaboration with Stanley, man. You know how huge this is? You know how many ladies love their Stanley Cup, man? And now you got the most electrifying woman in women's basketball collaborating with them, man. I can't wait to see what it is. Is it going to be Clark's logo on the Stanley Cup, man? What is it going to be? Good job, Stanley, picking up Caitlin Clark to do a collaboration with y'all, man, because this is going to be huge, man.
Meanwhile, other immensely talented and deserving WNBA players are left fighting for basic recognition and fair pay, creating a surreal and deeply frustrating reality. These are athletes who have dedicated their lives to the game, who have been all-stars and champions, and who have fought for years to slowly push the league forward inch by inch. Now, they are watching from the sidelines as a rookie secures a landmark deal that dwarfs most of their career earnings combined. The psychological impact in locker rooms across the league must be nothing short of devastating. It fosters a quiet, unspoken tension between the concept of collective bargaining and the stark reality of individual market value. The very players who wore "pay us what you owe us" shirts during All-Star Weekend, advocating for the entire player base, are now witnessing a reality where the free market, not the league salary structure, pays one player what she's objectively worth.
You, man, the ladies is gonna love this, man. They already be walking around with they big ass Stanley Cups, never letting it go. And now you got a Caitlin Clark Stanley Cup collaboration. Fire, man. But what else can you do when the most electrifying woman in women's basketball is just out there, man? And you know you gonna want to do a collaboration with her because it's gonna bring all the goddamn attention, man. Good job, Clark. Congratulations, man. Let the endorsements and the collaborations keep rolling, ladies and gentlemen.
This creates an almost impossible internal conflict. How do you celebrate a teammate's success while simultaneously grappling with the fact that her success highlights the system's failure to properly value you? This isn't about jealousy toward Caitlin Clark. It's about frustration with an ecosystem that hasn't found a way to adequately monetize its talent until an external force like Clark, and now Nike, blows the door off its hinges. These veterans built the house, but new arrival is being credited for the mansion that's being built on the same property. They're caught in an impossible position, grateful for the increased visibility and attendance she brings, yet painfully aware that the financial fruits are being distributed with extreme inequality. Nike's monumental investment is a statement that resonates far beyond the hardwood of the basketball court. It's a brutal, unfiltered lesson in raw market economics. It demonstrates that value is not determined by tenure, by past sacrifices, or even solely by on-court statistics alone. Value is determined by the ability to move merchandise, to shift stock prices, to drive television ratings, and to capture the cultural zeitgeist. In this new, harsh economic lesson, Caitlin Clark is a doctorate-level subject, and the rest of the league is struggling to pass the introductory course. This deal holds up a mirror to the entire sports world, forcing a conversation about what athletes are truly worth in an era where their influence could be directly measured in millions of dollars of economic impact, and asking the difficult question of who exactly should be responsible for paying that price. So what happens next? The panic within the WNBA headquarters must be palpable. They've been exposed. The data proves their incredible season was disproportionately fueled by one individual's star power. The injury report proves their system is failing to protect their players. And Nike's landmark deal proves that external corporations see more future in one person than they might in the league's collective whole. Caitlin Clark will eventually return from her injury. She'll step back onto the court wearing her own signature logo, a walking embodiment of a phenomenon that has surpassed the sport itself. It will feel less like a comeback and more like a coronation, but her return won't solve the league's deep-rooted problems. It will merely mask them again. The challenge of the WNBA is no longer just about riding the wave of Clark's stardom. It's about building a sustainable model that can survive her eventual days off, her injuries, and even her retirement. They must invest in better player care to end the injury epidemic. They must find a way to better market their other incredible stars. They must create a product that is compelling even when the main attraction is not in the building. The warning shot has been fired. Nike's logo is a symbol of the future. The question is, will the WNBA evolve to meet it, or will it be left behind? Wondering what happened to all the fans who disappeared as soon as one player changed her clothes? If this deep dive into the high-stakes world of sports business shocked you, then do us a huge favor. Smash that like button. Leave a comment down below with your thoughts on whether the WNBA can survive its own success. And subscribe for more content that reveals the truth behind the headlines. Thanks for watching.